Good morning. It is 9/18, June 4th, 2019. How do you like my new studio? All right. Uh, Thinking about taking this shit seriously. So I've simply turned my computer to face the wall. But look, it looks so much more organized, so much cleaner. You should see that side of the fucking room. All right, here we are. So I went to the city council meeting yesterday. Uh, you know, I don't know. I'm really not trying to change their minds because, you know, they're too self-righteous to ever change their minds. Maybe one or two, I think, actually heard what I was saying and took it to heart. But I think I'm just brushing off my politicking, my public speaking. And because you only get 3 minutes, and they're still not handicapped accessible there. I think it's ironic, right, that we've got such a liberal Democratic city council, right? I mean, and I'm not hating on these people; they're not bad people, but they are, and and they had LGBT Pride Month, and they did this poem that wasn't a poem; it was a goddamn story about two faggots in a bar and their struggles. Okay, hey, but it wasn't a poem. And the thing that really outraged me was this story that had no artistic value was something a sixth grader could write. And that's the problem with most liberal poetic artists. They don't advance deeper than a lot of sixth graders, right? I'm serious. They're very shallow. All their poetry is prima facie. You get it. Okay, I got it. I get what you're saying, which is okay, but, this was the story. And this goddamn story took like 9 minutes. I only get 3 minutes as a citizen, right? But they get to spout their agenda-driven poetry, which is just a story, which is just a guilt trip on how horrible we've treated people throughout American history. Okay. I got a little sidetracked there. So, the city council, their bathrooms are not handicap accessible for me in a wheelchair. I don't fit in their stalls. I can't close a bathroom stall door with my wheelchair in that stall all the way. These progressive people, oh, the poor LGBTQ, and okay, them little fairies need some help, right? They can't defend themselves. They're not on an intellectual level with everybody else, so we have to help them out. That's what Democrats say. Same with the African Americans. They're not here with us. They can't do it on their own. We need to make special. And as I say that, understand I don't believe that was satire. The problem with most Democrats is they see minorities as inferior to them, and that's why they need the help. Where us conservatives, I'm not saying there's not racist conservatives out there, but there's racist Democrats out there too. Conservatives are more about, look, let's give the African American community a chance to get there on their own, on merit, not with handouts. Because the handouts, listen, this isn't my opinion, it is, but my opinion derives a lot from Thomas Sowell. So if you want to know about the economics of African Americans and how bad they've had and how well they have it, read some Thomas Sowell before you come at me, because trust me, he's smarter than I am. And he happens to be black. He happens to have grown up in Harlem in the 1945, right? And so I defer to his opinion, which I agree with. Absolutely. So, and I'm not saying all conservatives feel this way. Look, most conservatives aren't smart enough to realize what they're doing is the best way to do it for everyone. They just know what they're doing, and they just want people to let them do what they do, and they want to let other people do what they do, not because they're brilliant, not because they have in-depth knowledge, because that simplicity is really the healthiest thing for society. All right? I'm not trying to, anyways. All right. It's odd, though, that our city council, our city hall is not handicap accessible in the bathrooms, and then you gotta go woo down a big old ramp, and then you got this big old podium, and I gotta talk over it. It's like they're so concerned about the less fortunate. But the people they think are less fortunate, LGBTQ community, as if they're powerless, which they're not. They're people. They have agency. They have their own goals and their own willpower and their own life. They're not all the same. But to the liberals, they need to hand up because apparently they can't reach themselves. We know better, but this is how they portray it. This is how Democrats are more racist and prejudicial than redneck conservatives who just want to fuck their goats up in the woods. Because they just want to fuck their goats, leave them alone, and let you do whatever you do. But as these liberals get into power, they start pushing agendas saying LGBTQ, African American community, illegal immigrants, all these minorities or things. They need a hand up because they can't do it on their own. That's prejudice. That's thinking they're better than those minorities and that those minorities don't have the ability to do it on their own, so let's help them out at the bereft of some other minority. You can't, because if you lift them all up, then we're all equal again. They don't do that. They want to put their personal ones ahead of other ones, right? And I just think it's ironic that our city hall isn't handicap accessible, really. It really is not. I mean, it's beautiful. It's great. I love the art. Not one piece of art by a white person in that motherfucking joint, all right? Not one piece of art from a white person or about white people, all right? That's racist. I don't know. Just throw Emily Dickinson in there, or some yeah, the names are. I know all the names up there. I can't get them out though. Throw Edgar Allan Poe. Oh God, there's this dude. I really like. Hey, do I know this? Well, I get around. This James guy. You were in front of the city council. I want to talk about death today. Death. In front of the city council. I'm not sure what that's supposed to get done. But anyway, so I'm rambling on here. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today. 8 minutes into it. So I've got a group of liberal friends, and they're great gals, they're great people, and we tend to try to talk civil and really work out differences. And so I wish I remember, was it Susan? Pam, Susan, Ann, love little Ann. But anyways, we're all walking back to the car from the city council meeting, and me and I think it was Susan, are getting into it playfully, respectfully. I thought, but we're kind of grinding it out. And one of the points she made that made me sit up and go, really, is that true? Is that, and she wasn't sure of the numbers, so we're not going to hold her that. But Spokane gets a return on their tax dollar of about $1.35. I'm like, what? So basically, every dollar we send there, in benefits of some sort, some way, we get $1.35 back, or something along those lines. We're a net profit, and I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right. Why is that? And so I looked into the numbers, and look, this is my analysis of statistics that weren't for this purpose. I was looking into the numbers, I was breaking into it, and what it seems like to me, if you tax us, we tax ourselves at what? Between Idaho and Spokane, 8.7. Look, I've been homeless. I've been out of the fucking retail game for a while, so I'm not quite sure. But if we tax ourselves in Spokane County about 8.1%, right? That's the sales tax and the income. Okay, and then Seattle taxes their people like 11.9%. All right. So now when that money goes into the same pool and then gets distributed evenly, of course we're going to be up. That's no fault of our own. We can't help it. We don't tax our people as hard as Seattle and then expect it to be distributed evenly, right? And that's the discrepancy. And I don't know what to say about that. And I can't find the breakdown to really figure out, so where's that 35 cents? What benefits are we getting from that 35 cents that Seattle isn't per capita, and that's the thing. It's such a simple number to throw out there, but I'm not sure in application, and I haven't, I'm still going to do a little research, but I think I figured out why we get 35 cents on the dollar more than Western Washington is because we tax at a lower rate and they tax at a higher rate, and because that goes into the same pool and then everything gets distributed evenly back to the states, the places that don't have the income, don't have the tax brackets, they're going to benefit more, which she agreed for the I don't want to say poverty stricken, all right? There's another thing about liberal Democrats, right? They look at how much people make on the reservations or OMAC or these other places which, technically are not as prosperous as far as wealth goes, but it doesn't mean they don't have it doesn't even mean they want that fucking money. They like living the way they do, maybe, away from society, maybe a little tougher, maybe a little harder, but, it really insults me for them, which now I'm a Democrat. I think it's insulting when they say, well, that, because she didn't mean to, she wasn't trying to. So I don't mean to take her out of context because I like she's a very intelligent woman. But, she mentioned some, I don't think it was all that, but some counties that are just, as far as tax revenue goes, yeah, they don't have shit because they hunt. You can't tax part of a deer you just skinned for your kids. I don't know, right? So, but that doesn't mean they're not rich or deserving of a surplus of services because we're civilized, right? I don't mind, my tax dollar going a little bit more to maybe their public schools so that their kids have well, of course, public schools suck, but let's say public schools didn't suck, okay? And let's say because they live off the land a little more, they're not into the money game that we are, doesn't mean their kids aren't deserving or that they wouldn't want their kids to have, a really solid first through sixth, and then, I don't know, I dropped out of high school when I was, 16, 17, got my GED when I was 17. I didn't need high school to become a fucking brainiac. That's assuming I did become a brainiac. Okay, but I do guarantee you, kindergarten through sixth grade, in my opinion, are vital. And so I wouldn't mind as a citizen of Spokane if a few more of my tax dollars went to some outskirting areas so their children could get a solid kindergarten through sixth grade education, so then they can decide to be a lumberjack or a doctor, to live off the land or go into tech, I don't mind that. That's society. That's a good society. And so I don't know. And I'm not sure. Me and Susan, I don't want to put her in a position that she wasn't trying to portray. This was the root of our discussion and how it went. And these are some of my thoughts on it because, she raised good points. And I just wanted to flesh out, what does that mean that we get $1.35 on our dollar? Why is that? Why are we benefiting when Seattle's a fucking mess and probably could use that 35 cents? Well, the study also says Washington State has some of the most regressive tax code in all the U.S., which I believe. I believe sincerely. But I'm not going to give any solutions on that. I just agree that there's a lot of backward things going on in Washington. We also talk about moron Liberty State stuff. And I've always wanted an Eastern Washington state, not Liberty State though. That's not the state I'm looking for. I just basically want to split down the middle with a couple tweaks, But anyways, that's a little more adult to fit my new studio, adult conversation. All right. Well, if you watch this video, thank you. Again, I live in Spokane, Washington, so if you watch this whole thing, I appreciate it. Maybe it encourages you to maybe look into why the tax dollars are different. When all goes in the same pool, and maybe I'm seeing this wrong. I've got a limited access to accounting records, or even a good critical thinking way of looking at it. I'm just going off. This is my own feel of the thing, or maybe I'm just plagiarizing somebody. I don't realize it. All right, have a good day, everyone. Thanks for watching.